Good morning, everyone. This is our presentation for our online peer assessment. Our group members are Sir John, Ms. Isaac, Ms. Van Tol, Mrs. Zor, Ms. Husband, and I am Ms. Austin. Due to the pandemic COVID-19, our pupils have suffered tremendously due to the learning loss, which saw a major decline in their performance in letter identification, sounds and sight words, written vocabulary, and reading comprehension. In this assignment, we will consider a few solutions and will help in correcting this problem. A teacher will divide the class into smaller groups according to the ability. They will be taught the same topic and similar method. It is highly recommended that each teacher should not rush through a curriculum, but focus on helping each child to develop in all areas by means of the diagnostic booklet. Now we're going to our first question.
How we are going to show the differences between formative assessments, summative assessments, and diagnostic assessments using a Venn diagram. For formative assessments, these assessments task provides practice for students. They provide useful feedback to individual students. They also give teachers an opportunity to review class results and address gaps in learning. Meanwhile, summative assessments used to grade the students' level of understanding, and they are also usually takes place when no further learning is possible for the course being assessed. Meanwhile, diagnostic assessments are used to identify the student's current knowledge, allows learning activities to match student requirements, and usually takes place before a student is taught.
What is the reading assessment role in Guyana? In Guyana, reading assessment is used by educators to understand the reading abilities of each and every learner. Teachers often use assessments to decide on the best solutions and interventions of developing their pupil reading abilities. Critical viewpoints of reading assessment. One of the most critical life skills a human being must possess in order to survive in a modern world is the ability to read. Being able to read opens the mind of limitless possibilities. Reading allows individuals to significantly enlighten themselves with exploration of new words and exchanging ideas. It is very important that persons learn to read from an early age in order to properly furnish themselves with the critical knowledge necessary for their personal development as literate people. The Ministry of Education is very cognizant of the need for Guyanese to read more, as it seeks to considerably raise the literacy level from its current unacceptable state. Moreover, the MOE is presently putting measures in place to reverse the blight of literacy in Guyana through an innovative reading program.
Good morning again. The school that we chose to garner our information from is Butukade Primary School. The grade level we use is grade 1. The name of the class, grade 1 Royal. So I will be explaining the diagnostic assessment, the literacy part of course. First, the letter identification score sheet. The children were given 26 uppercase letters and 26 lowercase letters. For each, they were asked to name the letter, name the sound, and a word beginning with that letter. Secondly, they had a part that was labeled writing vocabulary. The children were asked to write all the words they knew. But unfortunately, most of the class could not write a lot of words. So most of them wrote about 3 words, about 4 words, and that is not good for grade 1 level. Anyway, the other part of the assignment, it was the sight word scoring sheet. They were giving 60 sight words, and they were asked to call as many of the sight words that were on the paper. And surprisingly, most or majority of the class could not have called at least 10 sight words from the list of 60 sight words. Letter identification score sheet. Yes, we already looked at that. The children had to read 2 passages. And the label for that, it was the reading and comprehension passages. Surprisingly, these 2 passages were given to the learners to see if they could read, if they could comprehend and understand what they would have read. But because the learners were doing so poorly with even calling sight words, even creating words, they could not have read the passage. No one in the whole class, the entire class of 20, did not succeed at reading the passage. Now, we cannot blame our learners for that. Let us simply blame the pandemic, because we would have known, or we would have realized that indeed they would have suffered significantly due to the pandemic.
Diana's Reader Survey. The children were given a survey and their responses were written. How often do you read? The response was a little. Do you like to read? Why? Yes, it is fun. Do you think reading is easy, okay, or hard? What do you think this is? Some other questions were given. Observation of learners reading. Questions were provided in order to guide observations of learners reading. Does the learner approach reading with confidence? How many errors did the learner make? Did the learner notice the errors? If the learners noticed an error, what did the learner do? Stop, kept reading, asked for help, sum it out letter by letter. Additional notes? The frequency rubric was used to test the frequency level of each student. Got it? Approaching? Not yet.
In the reading standard, they were benchmark viewed in the line of assessment. Some of these examples we found were segment spoken words into syllables and individual phonemes. Understand that individual letters represent individual sound. Read fluently with expression any appropriate grade level text. Know letter sound correspondence. Blend letter sounds with print word. Identify long vowels in single syllable spoken words. Read basic grade level sight words in isolation. Observe appropriate spacing between letter words and sentences. Show awareness of conventional spelling.
I'll give my critical viewpoint on the action plan the teachers use at the grade 1 level. In my viewpoint, the teachers should have extended the letter and sound identification for another week, since the children were now going into the classroom after the pandemic, and many of them may not have been doing any schoolwork during that period. Along with the letter cards, the teachers should have had different pictures and asked the students to say the beginning or initial sound of those pictures. For the reading activities, the teachers should have had the children build words using different word families before they were given sentence strips to read, since they have to know words before they can actually read sentences. The listening and recording sounds activities were excellent, since the children were able to see the letters and hear their sounds at the same time with the use of a video. The time span for the sight words should have been extended for another week also, so as to familiarize the pupils with the sight words.
So, describing how the outcome can relate to the students for the class profile, which is the next question. Student profiling is where each child has a photo and inside of information on that child. For example, let's say Miss Isaacson. Our photo would contain our name, our address, our contact information, our mother's occupation, our father's occupation. It will also have our weaknesses, it will have our strengths. And let's say in this student profile, it says that she's good at maths, but poor in English. And she's a struggling reader. These are what will be included in student profiling. It continues to be updated throughout the year and maybe after the first term. Let's say Miss Isaacs start liking books. And because the teacher have interest in books in the class, so for the next term, the teacher will update that profile. So it will be saying, now Miss Isaacs likes books because there are books that are interesting to her. And so after finishing the diagnostic assessment, in each child profile, a teacher will basically make a note on their strengths and weaknesses so that they can refer back to that profile or photo and are able to plan for that child or to know which group that child fall in. By asking question, is that child weak or is that child improved? Or is he average? Is he a high flyer? You will be able to know what activity to plan for that child. So that's basically the student profiling. So to conclude this assignment, in summation, assessments are a necessity in the teaching and learning process. There are various types of assessments and each play a vital role in the education system. Diagnostic assessment is done to identify a pupil's learning level, and this information provides for a suitable and effective task for that pupil. Formative assessment gives feedback on how well the lesson was received by the pupils, and summative is done at the end of a term or program. From our investigation, we learned that pupils were performing very poorly at that level because insufficient time was given for the area of focus, which resulted in pupils not being able to fully grasp the concept. It is safe to say that the allotted time for each problem area should be extended to ensure pupils fully understand the learning. Thank you.